Let me begin by asking you, what exactly is your response to the demands made by political parties, including the Shiv Sena, that you return the award conferred on you by Pakistan last year?
No other party has made any demand of that sort. It's only the Shiv Sena and their leader who said that I should return the award, and if I don't return the award, then I should leave this country, get back to Pakistan and live there. This is, and I think it's an abominable pronouncement by a responsible person. It has no legal validity. It's hurtful. It offends one's sense of personal dignity, and one feels wronged, makes you feel angry. And the fact that it comes from people who are concerned with the ruling party of a state, it's also amazing and very surprising.
Apart from the Shiv Sena, sir, other BJP MPs in Maharashtra, and there are reports that even Sharad Pawar's party have not condemned the statement of the Shiv Sena, but they've been fairly ambiguous about this. Do you find that equally hurtful?
Mr. Sharad Pawar's party has retracted the statement. Mr. Pawar has cleared it himself. And about the BJP, they have said that it is all up to me to give away the award or not to give it up. The parties as such may have made some unauthorized members who said a few irresponsible things. I don't mind them. But the fact that it comes from the head of a party, who is also its architect, to make such demands which smack of fascism. These are the fascist ways of fascist administrations. So it's not a good sign. It's all right for me. He levels these charges on me, but this is an unfortunate sign that we should have such people in the administration of such a large democracy such as India. We are a federal democratic country, and these are not happy signs.
So you've chosen to come to Delhi to meet Prime Minister Vajpayee, but did you at any point before this consider seeing Balasaheb Thackeray yourself? After all, you've known him a long time in Mumbai.
I do not think that any useful purpose would have been served in meeting him, because he is a little adamant in his nature. He can be very nice and has been extremely affectionate and kind with me when he feels like it, but it seems that he is on the lookout for any little thing to it seems that any little thing can excite him and agitate him.
In a broader context, what do you think is wrong with Indian politics, or Maharashtra politics in particular, that eminent public figures such as yourself belonging to the minority community have been repeatedly targeted in recent years. Do you think this deterioration has set in since the Mumbai riots of 1993?
Not necessarily. This system and the aptitude for these sweeping decisions, irrespective of the established norms or even the maxims of law and order, the administration is given to taking steps which violate human rights and violate established norms, also law quite often. And this propensity has grown.
Why do you think so?
It's because the party in power continues to enjoy power, so they feel that they have the validity to do what they are doing, and perhaps that is something that is more beneficial to the administration of this great province. Bombay was one of the most lucrative cities in the country, and it also had a very rational, beautiful culture. It was supposed to be one of the best administrated city, also socially more vibrant and more cosmopolitan. But unfortunately, over the years, it has lost that distinction of place and also the distinction of the quality that it enjoyed in its administration and also in its socio-civic ambience.
You've been involved in a rather ugly and public controversy some months ago. It was your defense of the film Fire that led to very unpleasant protests outside your residence in Mumbai. Why do you think it is that with issues, whether it's Kargil or a controversial film, your values, indeed your nationalism, is called or brought under a cloud of suspicion?
I personally feel that it is because perhaps somebody else may be able to get away with it. But why I am targeted for these things again and again is I am beginning to believe that it is because I belong to the Muslim minority. I think this may be the reason.
The film industry traditionally has had a very long history of being a very secular place. Do you perceive a change in recent years, sir?
This industry had unfailingly stood up for cosmopolitanity and for secular values. I cannot say that it has changed. I would not like to say that. I am no longer in the hub of things. I'm a little away. So I wouldn't be able to read the climate and the new traditions. But the younger generation has to prove itself and its social or beliefs or its view on not just filmmaking, but the ethics involved in the filmmaking and the obligation that the film workers or stars, producers and directors owe to society.
One of the issues that has also exacerbated relations between communities in the film industry is the film industry's alleged but rampant contacts with the underworld. How do you think this has developed in recent years?
This is a big misgiving, great misgiving.
You don't believe...
The contacts of the underworld are there in the management of the country also, the management of the government, management of offices or of departments. Responsible people within the film industry do not have any such contacts, and we can't afford it. They have established norms of procuring finance and of working, of trading. But it's only the newcomers, and unfortunately there are so many adventurers that have been that have permeated, and there's nothing to stop them. So many people with meager resources may come and start off a venture, and they have the support of these people who are in search of glamour and some kind of an accreditation or some publicity. These may be the reasons why there has been an inflow of these undesirable elements within the industry. But certainly the responsible people in the industry, or those who are in the know of it, would choose the people which they work for, or choose the people that they draw finance from, and in their operations. But a newcomer who just having an adventure,
right,
they have no such scruples, and sometimes they court disastrous results
and fall prey to a whole corrupt system.
Yes.
Which is much more general. So let's go back a little bit to when you started your career more than 50 years ago. Many of the top Muslim performers in the film industry at that stage were expected to change their names. People such as Madhubala, Meena Kumari and yourself, that is how you acquired your screen names. Why did that happen? Because today it hardly seems possible that top performers like Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan would change their names.
I don't think that I wouldn't endorse your reading of the situation, because even during those days there was Khurshid, and there was Munawwar Sultana and Suraya and Mr. Nazir and many others who kept their names, and some of them they liked to change. For myself, for instance, I was not interested in what they named me. They offered me an option between Jahangir and Dilip Kumar. There was one other name, and I preferred Dilip Kumar. I said, yes, this is okay.
So it was a chance happening.
This was the vogue during those days.
What were your beginnings in films like?
I didn't intend to join films because I didn't get much opportunity to see films. I was in a school which was far away from Bombay, and there were no cinema houses. There was only one cinema house which was for Army Garrison. So in Bombay, I shifted when I was in college, and along with one of our advisors, from whom we were getting some talks on vocational guidance, I went with him, and that's the story when I went to Bombay Talkies.
You were barely 20
Yes.
when you started your career. Was that a very exciting and challenging time, or a difficult and trying time?
Frankly, it was, of course, a challenging proposition, and I thought that I will not succeed in it. Soon they'll find out that I know nothing about acting, and they'll say, sorry, sorry, no sorry, thank you, goodbye. But Yehuani, it didn't happen. And Dilip Kumar became an entity and to reckon with. And so this is, to me, is the biggest accident of my life.
In the 40s and 50s, you had some very successful screen partnerships with top heroines like Noor Jahan, Kamini Kaushal, even Nargis. Looking back now, which do you think was your most memorable or satisfying screen partnership?
I think I love all of them. They were very nice fine artists, they had good talent, and we used to be far more cordial and communicative. Aajkal, in these days, people get together, they work, they finish a film, but they hardly know each other. There's lesser togetherness because there is so much of pressure on everybody's time. But we had good associations, and I think Nargis was a very good artist to work with. So was Madhubala and Kamini Kaushal. Nurjahan was a sensational singer. Her voice was divine, and she was also a very original type of a person. It was a pleasure to know them and to work with them.
In the 40s and 50s, sir, you had your first big flush of hits, mega hits, films like Andaz, Didar, Naya Daur. Was this the result of remarkable studio bosses?
I think the reason for the success of some of these films was that a trend had set in to work on the raw material, that's the story, and the screenplay, and the scenario. Sometimes they used to distinguish between the three chapters and develop each one of them. So it's because more importance was given to the substance and to the core raw material, that's the literature, and I think that's the reason why the films were more effective and more successful.
Do you believe, sir, that black and white cinema had a truly original and brilliant quality that color lacks?
Couldn't quite say that. Black and white cinema, some of them were very well photographed and very captivating. But in color we had problems, because color must be very judiciously used, color combinations, and sometimes a color film needs the absence of color, lesser color, environmental appropriateness of the color schemes. I think we've come a long way now, but I still feel that there is an excess of color in a color film, which sometimes may hamper its atmospherical relevance.
Mughal-e-Azam, K. Asif's great epic, which took 5 years to make. What was that experience like?
It was a lot of hard work, because first exercise in formal film, a film character which was very formal, playing the role of the Mughal prince, with different kinds of dialogues, with very excellent mixture of the vowels and the phonetics, consonants, difficult to deliver, and a change of personality. Dilip Kumar had to go through a total change of personality, and that's a test. It's also taking a risk when you change your personality and go over to another personality, totally alien. Like Dilip Kumar of Devdas or Milan doing Ganga Jamna. And that's a peasant's character. Likewise, doing Mughal-e-Azam was a bit of a risk, but you had to do a lot of drilling and work hard on it. It was also a great experience, and it was possible only because everybody was equally dedicated. That kind of a work perhaps may be difficult in these times, because the ethics and the grammar has changed.
Sir, from your vantage point now, what would you say is the biggest change you observe in the film industry?
The biggest change is that you are confronted with the base charges of being a traitor to your country and wanting to shed the award that you have won, bringing it down to the street level. This is the biggest and the most unfortunate change, and I hope that things will change and we have a better weather.
Thank you very much for talking to us. It's been both a pleasure and a privilege talking to you. Thank you.